In this video, I would give you the exact blueprint of making $1,000 in dividend every freaking month. There's a lot of videos out there revolving around the same topic, but I didn't find any video with 100% transparency and based on the grounds of reality. If you are interested in making that $1,000 in passive income every month without doing anything, this video is for you. We'll discuss key points like how much money you will need, how much time will it take, and much more. So get focused for the next few minutes and stay till the end, as I have an exact blueprint of which stocks to go with and which one to avoid. Before diving into the blueprint, we must understand what dividends actually are. Dividends are the part of profits that a company shares with you just because you invested in their stocks and held them. Now the companies won't pay you dividends every month, as each company has its own terms of paying out the dividends. Some companies may yield dividends quarterly and other might yield them yearly. But for the sake of this video, $1,000 a month, I'm gonna say is $12,000 a year. So we'll focus on making that $12,000 a year, which averages $1,000 every single month. To answer the very first question of how much money will you need to invest, we'll have to understand this easy math first. And if you do, you no longer have to watch any other YouTube video on making passive income through dividends. Alright, the ease of math goes like, as we are planning to get a dividend of $12,000, we'll simply divide it with your portfolio's dividend yield. And that would give you a quick estimate of how much money is needed to be invested. For example, your dividend portfolio yield is 4%. Divide it with $12,000 and you will get $300,000. So you will need to invest $300,000 to get that $1,000 in dividend every month. Now this is the quick way to calculate and get started with your journey. But I'm gonna show you two different ways you can reach there, and you will have to decide which one works better for you. The first and the most prominent way that I personally follow is choosing companies with lower yield but higher growth. To elaborate this down, let me show you some calculations. In this case, where your annual dividend yield is 3% with a dividend increase of 1% annually and 8% stock price appreciation, with those numbers it will take you 11 to 12 years of investing to achieve that $1,000 of dividend every month. This calculation was made up on the assumption of you investing $1,700 every month, or a sum of $20,000 annually. Now please don't let this scare you. Let me show you the scenario in the bigger picture. Assuming you follow this pattern and make that $20,000 investment for the next 30 years, at the end of 30 years you will be the owner of a portfolio worth $4.5 million, paying you a sum of $1,84,000 in dividends every freaking year. With little more than a decade, you'll cross that $1,000 dividend every month mark. But after that, your investment will start snowballing and make you wealthy in the coming times. So this is the method 1, where you go with the companies that yield low dividends but have a higher growth acceleration. The second way is a little bit riskier, but the rewards here are much bigger. I personally won't go with this one, but yeah, many people choose this route and maybe reach their goals much faster. Basically, this is a method wherein you will chase the high yielding dividend stocks. Let's get back to some calculations. In this scenario, you will be investing $500 a month or $6,000 annually with an 8% dividend yield and a 1% dividend appreciation, but only 3.5% share price appreciation. It would take you 12 to 13 years to reach that $1,000 a month in dividends. Now I know you must be saying it's just $500 a month of investment and not $1,700 like method 1. I'll get back to it in a moment, but in this case, after 30 years, you would be a owner of more than $1.7 million, which pays you a dividend close to $200,000 in annual dividend income. Now coming back to the point of why not to choose this method, as it is way more doable and seems to be realistic. Well, it's because it might seem realistic, but it is not. For most companies, it is not sustainable to pay a high dividend yield like 7 to 8% every year. I'm not saying any company could not do that. I'm sure there are a few who can and maybe will continue to do that. But for most of the companies, they just cannot. So it's advisable to look in the long run instead of falling for the glitters. Also, I would like to add another scenario of investing $1,700 monthly or a $20,000 yearly at 8% dividend yield and 3.5% of appreciation in the shares. It will still take you 6 to 7 years to reach your goals of $1,000 in dividends monthly. Well, all of this scenario is made up just to make you understand the game. I already explained why method 1 is much more realistic and safer compared to going for the high dividend yielding stocks. If you are still not clear with why you shouldn't, search for it on YouTube and you'll get your answers. Now in method 1, at the end of 30 years with a $20,000 annual investment, you will end up with a portfolio of $4.5 million with a $1,84,000 of annual dividend income. In the second case, no doubt you will get a higher annual dividend income of high as up to $200,000 annually, but the value of your money will be decreased to only $1.7 million. Also, will the company continue to pay that high dividend yield of 8% remains a big question, which it usually doesn't. To conclude, I'll say no matter what you do, it will take you years to get that $1,000 in dividends monthly mark. Considering the fact that you ain't a multi-millionaire planning to dump millions of dollars to get some passive income. It's all about proper knowledge and patience, and you'll surely get there. Make sure you don't listen to YouTubers who claim to get you that $1,000 in dividends in months, if not years. Stay wise and keep investing. I believe in you. If you found this video valuable, please consider subscribing us and like for the algorithm to know that this is some valuable stuff. I'll meet you soon in some other quality content. Till then, keep hustling.